Go for it. That's how we're kicking the show off. Welcome to this week's show, everybody. This is the Purple People Podcast coming at you live on October 15th. My name is Kyle Smith. I'm joined by Adam Carlson. What is up, sir? How are you?
Not too bad. It's been a good day. Got a lot of things done that I need to get done. Got some work done, which means I got some good quality pieces up on the Viking Age. And I'm ready to talk even more Vikings football.
Hell yeah. I saw some stuff go up earlier on the Viking Age. You guys should check that out. Kyle West is down there in the bottom. What's up, man?
Hey, I didn't know we were recording earlier.
No, it's okay.
Well, you learn something all the time.
We got you
so.
saying go for it at the beginning. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with some gopher action.
I know they're ranked now. We can talk about them a little bit later if you guys want to. I'm not too big on the Minnesota Gophers, but they're ranked for the first time. Pretty happy for them. I saw that over social media again.
For how much I enjoy scouting the draft and everything, I do not pay nearly enough attention to college football. I watch more college hockey than I watch college football.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Can't say anything. My team is, you guys know I'm from Carolina. We're not really a football team, so we don't have to talk about that. Let's get into this podcast this week, though, guys. We had a win over Philly Sunday. That's why we named this one Philly Lookin Silly. That's from Mr. Adam Carlson coming in clutch with the titles for this week. I was going to go with Love Ertz, but Zach Ertz wasn't
kind
really
of like
a big
that one
factor.
too.
Yeah, something hurts, you know. But yeah, it was a good win Sunday. We're going to dive straight into that. What's up, Rod, Haas, and Andrew? Getting in this at the start of the show. Hopefully the Facebook notification will let you guys know when we're going to start around this time. But yeah, let's dive into it, man. So the Vikings hosted the Eagles on Sunday, and we won. Wow, we have notes this week. Sorry. Kyle, so this is what happens when Adam comes back. We have something that is organized.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were flying.
We just make this shit up without you, Adam.
You
All right, so we're about to
guys.
do some quick hits. We have these from time to time. If it's me and Kyle running the show, it's probably not quick hits. But Adam's here, so we have a very good structure here. So let's dive right into it. I just saw this on the way home and was kind of bummed, but now I know why. The Vikings have waived defensive end to Sean Bauer, who was on the non-football injury list with a torn Achilles. So it is official. He had some upside.
He flashed several times in preseason. And I got to admit, I really liked the kid. I thought he had some potential. I'm not sure if he's going to get claimed by another team or not. I don't know if he's eligible for the practice squad if he does clear waivers. Because those rules are so wild. Who knows? I think he's only played in 7 games, so he should be eligible, maybe. I don't know, but either way, I think that having Afidi out an Igbo back and the strength with Stephen Weatherly, as well as the 2 starters, make it to where it's really hard to be a defensive end and stick with this team. The quality of pass rush is just way too high.
That's the deepest group we have on the team, right? The pass rushers.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah. This was going to be hard for him, like you said, but best wishes in your recovery. Hopefully no other team snags him up, and maybe we can throw him on the practice squad. You guys are better at that than me for knowing that kind of knowledge on it, but man, yeah, I've heard his name several times. I've seen him in the preseason. Like you said, he's very, very.
If I was the boss, maybe, Andrew. If I was the boss, maybe.
Andrew's got the good comment of the night. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, pretty much. That's accurate.
Yeah, don't encourage him to go check that stuff out. Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh, I've listened. I've dealt with some of the mail.
Jason Tabati, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us, all you guys. Another quick hit right here. David Morgan is eligible to return to the Vikings, but making space on the 53-man roster may be tough. Yeah, I'm not sure who they would let go.
They've already got Holton Hill to bring back.
Yeah, which is super surprising.
I am surprised they held on to him. I mean, he does have a crazy amount of talent. But if he can,
project right there waiting to happen.
He's getting a lot of opportunities, and he's got to take advantage of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now he's squandering them, and those chances don't come along too often.
while I filibuster here, I'm going to look at the roster real quick. And let's see if we can figure it out. But I can't think anything off the top of my head of who we can get rid of to bring back David Morgan. And with Irv Smith being drafted, I don't know. I would love us to get rid of Kyle Rudolph because he's done nothing this year. But
Juan Treadwell.
My only pick would be Amir Abdul because I still don't understand why he's there.
He's there to make sure that we are team touchback no matter what. And I'm okay with it.
Love him. I don't get it.
Oh, there you go. Andrew's with Kyle. He says Treadwell.
Did you see amazing Treadwell catch, though?
I know. He did have a pretty awesome catch this weekend. It meant absolutely nothing.
I had to go into work right before the end of the game, so I missed one catch.
I think that's all he had was one catch and one target.
Yep.
But it was a toe tap on the sideline. He does that, man.
It was for a first down on third down, too, I believe.
It was a conversion, and it was a very pretty catch and toe drag. And he just went back on the field like it was business as usual for him.
Well,
yeah.
Good for him, man. Good for him.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, this is going to be a good quick hit. Paul Krause talking about Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith can be the best strong safety in Vikings history, but he has not passed me at free safety.
Yeah. I like it.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Paul Krause's stats speak for themselves. He was absolutely amazing. When they say ball hawking safety, you imagine Paul Krause.
Andrew's got a good question. Is Abdullah the backup return guy? He's our kick returner, if I'm not mistaken, not our punt returner.
Yeah, he's the starting kick returner. And
he's a starting kick returner and like the third or fourth string running back. So he's got multi-purpose. Basically, he's the offensive Marcus Sherrills.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's it for you.
It's just weird.
Lives. Back to that Paul Krause story, though, man. That's really cool. I like the friendly banter and competition, that goes there because, like you said, Paul Krause is a legend. Harrison Smith's making a case if he can keep playing this way for the rest of his career, assuming he stays in Minnesota for another contract at least. He's going to go down as one of the great.
He will.
I don't know if he's going to catch the ball.
That's number 22. And he met Paul Krause, and they talked about what that number 22 means to the Vikings. Even that story back then, Paul Krause said, this kid's got some talent. I'm excited to see what he can do. And that number 22 started to mean a real lot for the Vikings. I know a lot of other numbers have significance, but 22 has got to be up there.
I like that a lot. I love when you have the former players come in and give their opinion and their thoughts on the new players, new coaches, all that fun stuff.
And it's weird what Randy Moss thinks about 84. Doesn't say anything when Michael Jenkins has it, but Cordero Patterson's like, nope. That was funny.
Sean Reynolds is in there.
I'll give it a rookie my number.
Skull to everyone. What's up, Sean? Thanks for joining us, man. All right, let's talk about multiple Viking players here. Kirk Cousins, Brian O'Neill, Eric Kendricks, and Anthony Harris all landed on Pro Football Focus's Week 6 Team of the Week. You know what my favorite name in this is? Brian O'Neill.
He's good. He is so good.
With that pick from the Vikings. Very, very happy with that pick. He's turned out to be a solid right tackle, and I'm very, very, very happy for it.
Yeah, when you can get a player like that, I know that second round isn't exactly a steal, but for them to get the evaluating of a right tackle that right, especially one that was a bit of a project where they thought he needed time to bulk up, and even last year when he wasn't ready, he didn't have the size or the technique down, he still came in and was decent. With that offseason, he stepped it up, and he got to be darn good.
Yeah, that's one of the focuses I wanted to talk about with him. We all know the Adam Thielen story. We've heard it 100,000 times. Obviously, Brian O'Neill was drafted, so it's not the exact same story.
Down. Going on.
My screen's been flipping upside down off and on, and I can't get it to lock, so that's what happens.
There we go.
Okay, cool. I think that was on your end, right?
Oh, that's absolutely my end.
Okay, cool. I was like, cool, I fixed it. Nope, didn't do that.
No, you take credit for it.
If you Alt Control down on your keyboard, if you're on Windows, it'll flip you upside down. So,
talking back again on Brian O'Neill, like he had a cool story, much like Adam Thielen. It's what it means to me, anyways. You see that he's got potential. He sticks to the plan. Like you said, he definitely had to put on some weight and get a little bit more size. But, man, he's really came into his own. And just to have some sort of what's the word I'm looking for here? Consistency on the offensive line at any point, because it seems like it's been a roulette wheel the last couple of years. It's such a good turnout here. And also, you got to show love. Kirk Cousins balled out. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Eric Kendricks played a great game. And here's Anthony Harris once again just showing up and playing lights out. So
I know the guy he replaced had a pretty decent game for Philly too, so I don't know.
Andrew, you're right. Adam is always in space. He's always there. That's why he's better than everyone else on his show. He's way above us. All right, Vikings Hall of Famer Carl Eller and Paul Krause, along with current Vikings Kyle Rudolph and C.J. Ham, hosted the NFL's Crucial Catch Intercept Cancer Reception at Mystic Lake Casino. That is super cool, too. Wow.
Yeah, Mystic Lake Casino itself is really cool, but when you can get Vikings players in there for a good cause, doing even more things, it makes it even better. And I love including stories like this in our quick hits. I know that you guys enjoy the game breakdowns and our game balls and donkeys and stuff, but we really enjoy talking about when players go above and beyond what they usually do, especially for a really great cause. So I just had to include that one.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. And then I like how it's an eclectic group of people there. You know, everybody likes C.J. Ham. Kyle Rudolph's been a staple of the team for, what, 8 years now? And then you have two legends mixed in there. That's really cool, man. And it's all for a good cause. All that PR that this team gets, it's usually 90% of the time it's really good. That's awesome.
And I got to admit, before I was scouring for stories, I hadn't heard about that.
I know I haven't heard about it until I just read it here, so you did a great job once again. Oh, man. Well, we can talk about this. What's up, Aline Adkins? This is cool. I got away with picking the Redskins this week.
Well, come on.
He's talking about the Survival League, and we have that up. We'll talk about it at the end, too. But, yeah, the Survival League has been pretty fun. I was telling you guys I pretty much played myself. I picked all the good teams. Now I got to start picking the bad ones, and I'm not too excited about it.
There are some people that still don't have strikes, though. Just saying.
I've got one. I can't believe it. Man. All right, let's get back to these quick hits. Golden Gophers placeholder and four-time cancer survivor Casey O'Brien served as honorary team captain Week 6 versus the Eagles. Man, look at all these feel-good stories here. That is awesome. I had no idea about this.
Yeah, that was another story that when I was hunting, I was like, oh, well, that's really neat.
I don't know if they would have shown that, right when it started. I don't know if you guys watched from the start of the game. Maybe it was.
I believe they did on Vikings game day. I don't think they did on the Fox broadcast.
Okay. Well, that was my fun Sunday. I got all the way to Buffalo Wild Wings early to figure out that my wallet was at home, so I had to go back and get it and miss the first part of the first 5 minutes of the game. So that was fun.
You're not there often enough where you can just have a running tab?
They should pay me as much as I go there. They were guaranteed to get my business for every Vikings game if I'm not working. It's annoying.
So that should be our next sponsor that we work on, Buffalo Wild. The Purple People Podcast brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Dude, I would do it for one free meal a month. I would advertise the shit out of Buffalo Wild Wings for that.
Small wings, hook me up, good to go.
Let's do it. Boneless or bone-in, I don't care. I'll eat some adult chicken nuggets. I'm not above it.
Right?
All right, last quick hit for the week. Current Vikings Ifeadi Odenigbo and Aviant Collins join Vikings legends. Wow, I don't know this name. Tuanau Alipate, Alfred Beeman, Ben Williams, and served up plates of meatloaf, mashed potatoes, broccoli, and salad at the Richard M. Schultz Family American Cancer Society, Hope Lodge in Minneapolis. Man, this is cool. This has to be the most positive story episode we've ever had. This is awesome.
It always feels like, too, when the Vikings get a win, it's always after they're doing some really good stuff for the community.
So wrapping all that up, so you have Kyle Rudolph, C.J. Ham, and Carl Eller and Paul Krause intercept cancer reception at the casino. You have a four-time cancer survivor, and the Gophers placeholder was the honorary team captain, so that means he got to go out there. It was at least for the stadium, they got to hear about that, which was cool. And then all these names I can't pronounce, serving up plates. at the American Society Hope Lodge. That's crazy.
No, that lodge, it's residential. What it is they have rooms for people that go there, cancer patients who can't afford to stay where they're at. They go there and they check in to get treatments, and they don't get a bill for their stay. There's a tip jar that says leave what you think is fair or what you can, and it's a really cool thing. They have the same kind of thing up here by me. I know a lot of other hospitals in the area or around the world have that same kind of setup, at least in the United States. So it's really cool that there are those options out there that are available for those in need when they do need a place to stay when they're getting treatments. And I don't know, to me it's just, it might sound silly just to go there and help feed some folks, but I bet you it brightens a lot of people's days.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. And this is all recent stuff. So all of this was happening within a very short time frame of each other, right?
Yeah, this was all in the last week on Vikings.com.
That's amazing. Man, what a time to be a Viking fan. What a good win over a team that I really, really despise. And all this cool stuff in there. That's really awesome, man.
And Rod Haas there in the chat talking about his fantasy team being 2-4. I'm right there with you, buddy. I made some big mistakes with my drafting. DeAndre Hopkins isn't doing what I thought he was going to do. Juju Smith-Schuster dropped his second round, and I was like, I'll take him. And that situation is just absolute dookie. I put a lot of chips on Baker Mayfield at quarterback, so of course all the other quarterbacks are gone, so now I'm starting Gardner Minshew, and he did not have a good game against the Saints. So yeah, my fantasy team's looking a little rough.
But at least you guys are 2-4. In one of my leagues, I'm 1-5, and I'm pretty much done for the season. So that's good.
This is the first year I ever broke from my running back first, second round strategy, and I don't think I'll ever break from it ever again.
You know, I try to take running back first round. If not, I'll go for like the best wide receiver. But man, I don't know. I picked Antonio Brown in 2 of my drafts, so that worked out really good for me too. that helped a lot. I got to replace him with a guy no,
Josh Gordon.
No, not even that. I have Mike Evans in one of the leagues, but Emmanuel Sanders. When he's one of your starting, it's not. That's not. I don't even know if that flex some of those days, you know. But this isn't a fantasy football podcast. I won't talk about how crappy my team is.
Kyle West just sitting there kind of looking around like, fantasy football, huh?
He's like, disco sucks. Well, while we're talking about it,
I don't agree with you, sir. I disagree with your shirt.
Oh, yeah. If you can, everybody in the comments section, tell Wes the shirt is inaccurate.
Who knows? Maybe they don't like disco either.
So while we're on the subject, before we break down this game,
maybe our social media question.
Just wanted to let you guys know there are some trades that are going on that you might want to be aware of. NFL news: the Rams made a shakeup today. They signed, or they plan to sign Jalen Ramsey. It says right here, 2 first-rounders, 20 and 21, and a 4th rounder in 21. That's insane. And also they got rid of Marcus Peters. He went to the Ravens. So I'd heard somewhere else from one of my friends that Aqib Talib was probably out as well.
There was another big trade that went down today too.
Uh-oh.
Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross have been traded to Friday Night SmackDown.
Ooh, there you go.
Whoa.
It's my turn to sit here and say nothing.
And I am a fan of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, so good stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. I've been seeing a lot of advertisement on Fox for SmackDown, so that's really cool.
Yeah, they had their draft over the last couple days on Raw and SmackDown, and it was definitely they tried to make it feel like an NFL draft kind of situation, and it didn't really work.
It didn't work at all. It was not good.
No.
Or fun.
The NFL draft is just too great. There's no way you can really copy that excitement. I'm already looking forward to next year's draft. I am. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Yeah, already?
Do it.
It's become pretty fun. I mean, like I said, I was in Nashville a week before, it started this year, and you could see like everyone was just getting super pumped and hyped for it. So I could see that. Be a good excuse to go and drink some alcohol and eat a lot of bad food and just go crazy.
It's in Vegas this year. Go have fun.
Where's it at?
Las Vegas.
Oh, that does not sound like New York City, so I will not be.
2020 Las Vegas, woo!
All right, let's break down this game. I'm so excited to talk about this game. The Vikings hosted the Eagles. This really, to me, felt like it could have been a trap game, but I'm really glad the outcome came out the way it did. It was 38-20, the final score. The Vikings picked apart a decimated Philadelphia secondary, and Kirk Cousins played lights out. I was very, very surprised. So he beat a team with a winning record, which was cool. And, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure you guys were happy when this happened. At one point in the game when they started to rally, I was like, whoop, here it comes. I was waiting for the inevitable, but they held it down. And that's
they let Philly get a little close there.
Yeah, they did. I liked it.
I get a little nervous in those situations.
I like that they had a moment where you could see that Philadelphia was surging back, but they calmed down. The coaches did some adjustments. The players took a breath, and they held their own. I really, really like that. That shows that they can maybe figure it out later on in the season. We'll see. There's plenty of good challenges still ahead in the season.
Game ball donkey time?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to give my game ball to Mike Zimmer. I'm very, very happy with him. I wanted to go
Good choice.
Zach Brown because cue the DJ Khaled music and you played yourself. But no, I think this game plan from the start worked out really, really well. I think there was a challenge that went his way as well early. Just all around good coaching. This kid Carson Wentz, I was very much down on him, and I kind of went with the generic stuff that you hear from the media and didn't do a lot of watching. I've watched every game that Philly's played this year, and excuse my French. I know you guys, I'm trying not to curse as much on here, but holy shit, I wish Minnesota had this guy. He's phenomenal. He's huge. And to keep him contained, I mean, it's kind of like when you play Aaron Rodgers. It's only going to be a matter of time before he busts around and makes a big play. Yeah, but I'm really happy with Coach Zim, especially the last 2 weeks with all that Diggs talk and all the stuff. Hey, just come out there and just kick the shit out of two teams 2 weeks in a row, and I'm very happy. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Zimmer. I was gonna give it to a player, but there's too many players for me to pick for this one.
I got 3 players.
Good one.
Go ahead, West.
I was going to say that's a good one, Smith. You know, you and I had talked about this season had the potential to go south really quick if they didn't write it, and it seems like they've. I don't want to jinx us, but they've got the ship going in the right direction right now. So that's definitely a positive. I'm going to give my game ball to Kirk Cousins. We've been very critical of Kirk Cousins, and I think rightfully so. And over the past couple weeks, he has seemed to kind of answer the call and step up to the plate. For Minnesota, say calling him out. Man, if that's what it takes to motivate this guy, then we need to call him out more often in the media because we need this. We need this from Kirk Cousins. We need him to play with this fire and this intensity for the team. That's what we need for him to find success. So I hope he can continue on and continue to play motivated like he's been, and I hope he doesn't kind of regress back to the bad Kirk that we've seen previously.
Well, there was that billboard material, that material that the Eagles gave Kirk Cousins too, with a lot of criticism, saying that the way they had to get the win is to make Kirk Cousins pass. And that linebacker for the Eagles, he's now out of a job that was talking all that smack. So not quite a great way to go.
That's the outcome they wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, and as it sits right now, just because it was on social media and I shared it, it's only week 6 going into 7. Actually, this is fair for us to have this up now because we're almost halfway done. As of right now, the Vikings would be in the playoffs. They would be a 6 seed. We would have to travel to New Orleans, which is super scary because they're really, really good. But right now, you know, and keep this up. We'll keep you posted every week. But that came up in Instagram, and why not?
Isn't that weird? Since last week, the Vikings are at the bottom of the NFC North.
Well, thanks to that
weird how that works out.
Screw job that happened in Lambeau last night. Yeah, we're back in the mix. Poor Lions.
Yeah. Now, like Ollie Adkins says in the chat here, I expected you guys to go Cousins and Diggs. I really did. But I think the best player on the field through that entire game was Eric Kendricks.
Yeah.
He was absolutely everywhere. He was doing things that linebackers are just not really expected to do. He was playing the line of scrimmage. He was dropping back, defending passes. He was going after the quarterback. He was doing everything this game. The combination of him and Barr, I believe they combined for 20 tackles.
I'm looking right here. Yep. They each had 8 solo. They each total had 10. Between them, they had 2 sacks and a tackle for loss, 3 passes defended, a quarterback hit. Yeah, they were doing their job Sunday.
Yeah, the Vikings ended up playing a lot of nickel in this game. And when they brought the nickel in, a lot of the time it was Jaron Curse, who was just a big-bodied safety who's pretty much a linebacker. So it's a weird situation too, because you've got this person who's skilled at coverage, but they can thump you like a linebacker, and being able to disguise all your defenses like that, Mike Zimmer's got one heck of a roster to play around with on defense and just confuse opposing teams.
Yeah, it's almost like Mike Zimmer is a pretty good defensive coach.
Oh, yes.
Ryan Denny's joined us here. Yeah, Ryan, we talked about that Treadwell catch. We'll highlight it just here in just a second when we go through some stats, man. It was a good catch from him.
Yeah, that's got to be a confidence builder in a lot of ways, too.
Yeah, I think we all made our piece on this show, and a lot of fans said, hey, we're happy. We did what we thought was necessary to cut Treadwell. Nobody signed him, and then, BB goes down, and we welcome him back. And I think it was kind of a refreshing, cleansing moment. And, he's a part of the team for the foreseeable future. We'll see what the season holds. But, yeah.
And from your point of view, getting released, not getting signed by anyone, and then having to come back and make that kind of catch, that's got to feel great.
Yeah, I was very happy. That when it happened, I said, who just caught that? And then, of course, it was him. I was like, all right, I see you, Treadwell. Rod Haas just commented, let's see who your game ball goes to here. The coaches. Yeah, I think they did well. I think they weathered the storm. That's what you need. Man, so many of these games, for as long as I can remember being a Viking fan, you can feel the surge coming, and you're just like, I just hope I can contain the mess enough to where we come out with a win. The team.
There are receivers that the Vikings always seem to have troubles with. Alshon Jeffrey is absolutely one of them. Golden Tate's another. It's just certain individuals that seem to have the Vikings number. Jordy Nelson was another one. Every time Jordy Nelson played the Vikings, he was finding ways to get open. Alshon Jeffrey he kind of took over this game for a little while, and I'm really glad that that he didn't do too much damage.
Alleen's giving his donkey here. Pat Elfline, but Rashad Hill came in and played like a boss. Yeah, we saw Rashad Hill playing. We saw Dakota Dozier getting knocked around a little bit. We saw some shakeups there on the offensive line, but they weathered the storm, man. They held it together as best they could.
Do any of us have a donkey other than Pat Elfline?
Xavier Rhodes.
Okay.
Yep.
I was going to give mine to Pat Elfline.
The last
I really
3
was.
weeks, it's been either Elfline or Rhodes. So
I'm telling you right now, man, Xavier Rhodes has got to have a bounce back second half of this season because he is playing. This is one of the worst seasons I've seen him play.
Trey Whitaker's playing him by a mile.
If it wasn't Alshon Jeffrey, it was Nelson Aguilar. Sometimes they flip flop with him and Waynes on either side, but it doesn't matter who. He's just not playing good football. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if he has just dramatically, as far as physically, just taken a step back. But this is not the same Xavier Rhodes we saw in 2015.
It's like we're copy and pasting every week with those two guys, and I hate doing that. Pat Elfline is a real candidate to get replaced this next coming off season because he didn't succeed at center.
What happened?
He's not succeeding at guard. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. He looked like he was playing pretty well for Minnesota before he got hurt, and then he just hasn't been able to really recover and regain his footing.
He made the all-rookie team. He looked like he was going to be just an absolute stud, but we fell for this before. We had the Matt Khalil magical season during his rookie year.
I was going to say
the Matt Khalil situation.
I hope this isn't a Matt Khalil situation.
I hope not.
It could be. It very well could be.
At least he's not a jerk about it. Matt Khalil was a really
he's not a
big dick. Yeah.
I hope not, man, because I remember when we picked Pat Elflein, I was very happy with that pick. But also, he came in at least for one season, assuming, or 2 seasons, whatever it is, if he's in his third, assuming he was going to play center. And that would throw it out the window real quick this year. So I don't know if it's been a combination of the injury and adjustments to moving over, but I don't know.
Something's got to give.
Yes, definitely. All right, let's break down some of these stats here because these were pretty cool. Kirk Cousins was 22 of 29, 333 yards, 4 touchdowns. 3 of those went to Stephon Diggs, 1 pick.
That interception I don't put on him.
Nope. That was Stephon Diggs' fault. He only took 1 sack, and he held on to the ball. The ball security was absolutely there. QBR of 93.9, rating of 138.4. This was his best game of the season so far. And, yeah.
Might be his best game as a Viking.
Kirk Cousins played.
I think it might
Absolutely a good game from him. A couple of those were throwaways too, out of bounds, just to secure the down, not cause a fumble, not throw an interception. This is the kind of play that you need from Kirk Cousins all the time. That deep ball isn't always going to be there. The beat up Eagles secondary allowed a lot of bigger plays than most other defenses would. But even with limited shots when they're there, a quick, efficient passing game with some time in the pocket. And this week, you didn't see him hopping around. You didn't see him as being as uncomfortable in the pocket. He stepped up. He stepped around. He rolled out well. We saw some confidence from him, and that's a big difference from what we saw against Chicago.
Yeah, there's no doubt, too, that the pressure in the defense is like Sunday when we play the Lions. It's going to be a major test. That defense they have is for real. But that you could say that for anyone that's not named Tom Brady and maybe Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. If there's a lot of pressure, their play is going to be affected by it. So I'm not going to put it completely on him. If he ends up playing well and we beat Detroit this weekend, that'll be a major statement game. Kind of a must-win, too, because we're already 0-2 in the division. So you definitely don't want to fall to 0-3.
We have to.
But, yeah,
we have to beat
good
Detroit.
Game from Cup. Yeah, it's absolutely a must-win this weekend. Not a bad game, though, from old Captain Caucasian there. I'm still not sold on you, guy. I know how you do. I'm happy that you played really well, and I wanted to see the dad dance this weekend. I did.
You definitely did.
Rushing was good. What was great about this game, and correct me if I'm wrong, but with all those deep balls, you kept the defense honest where they didn't stack the box as much as you would plan. 122 rushing yards total between 5 people, 2 attempts from Cousins, 1 from Thielen. They both didn't gain any, but Diggs had that one weird run where he actually made a really good decision. But between Madison and Cook, there's over 100 yards there. So I like that balance. And like Adam Thielen said a couple weeks ago, you're not going to get 180 rushing yards from one dude every week. The balance that was there because of the deep ball allowed for Alexander Madison to be the leading rusher this week. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and this was the first game this season so far that any team has had over 100 rushing yards against Philadelphia.
That's true.
So they really have to kind of take that into perspective. And I did find it really interesting that Alexander Madison led the way because, yes, Cook's a dynamic running back. He's got a lot of speed, and he's got that elusiveness, and he's got great acceleration. But Alexander Madison is a different beast.
Oh, yeah.
You watch him run with the football, and he's not Dalvin Cook. He's not going to juke people out of their shoes. He is going to power through people, and he is going to accelerate. Maybe not as fast as Dalvin Cook, but trying to bring him down when he's got those powerful legs trucking like a choo-choo train, yeah, you're going to struggle to bring him down.
I was very happy. Unfortunately, his 8 yards per carry average was only 4.5 in this game only. But
the fumble kind of hurts a little bit because he wasn't really known for fumbling at all in college.
Right.
Very, very few turnovers. But this is the NFL where those guys are trained to just yank at the football and punch at it every chance they get. And it might be something he needs to look at a little bit more going forward. It might be just a fluke play where maybe they got the best of him with the football. Who knows? But still,
he kind of had the ball. he kind of had the ball like out to his side when he was running with it. That's one of those things where, like you said, they got to teach. You got to move it in because, like you said, Adam, in the NFL, players are taught to punch it from behind. Get that ball out. So
you ever see those videos back in the day of Adrian Peterson holding that football and him using his arm muscle to like tuck the ball in?
Yeah. Yep.
And people were just punching at it. It wasn't going nowhere.
Yep.
Yeah, that's because his bicep was like our quads and our leg. Like,
yeah, right.
He's got fucking horse legs. Excuse my French, guys. I'm sorry about that. But he's got freaking horse legs for arms. Could you imagine? That reminds me of like when Jackass, when Jared Allen was on there and he laid out Johnny Knoxville twice. Could you imagine Adrian Peterson with a full head of steam just running straight at you? I'm moving out of the way. There's no way I'm going after that dude.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
That's the stuff nightmares are made of. All right, 333 receiving yards. All right, so Stephon Diggs led the way, 7 receptions, 167 yards, 3 touchdowns.
The hat trick.
Good God, man. This was a Randy Moss game for freaking Stephon Diggs. This was nuts. And I don't know what the hell the corners and the safeties were doing for Philadelphia, but they weren't covering him. There was 2 busted plays of like 50 and 60 yards. And I couldn't believe – that's one of the few times I've looked around, I think since Brett Favre was the quarterback for the team, and go, oh, my God, he is wide open. Wow, okay. But
on one of those touchdowns to Diggs, too, on the other side of the field, B.C. Johnson was wide open.
Yeah, that was going to be a touchdown.
He was.
No matter what. Rod said should have been. Yeah, you're right. You're very right. Adam Thielen had 6 receptions for 57 yards and a touchdown. Kyle Rudolph, 3 for 36. Irv Smith Jr. caught 2 for 29. My dude. Love that guy. B.C. Johnson, Treadwell, and Cook all had receptions. Yeah, this is cool. Cook's a part of the passing game just as well every week, too. So big shout out to that guy, man. He's doing good.
What is it with every week, though, and the strategy for the game? Drawing up that weird screen to Kyle Rudolph.
I don't know. They're trying to like squeeze out every penny they can out of that contract they overpaid him for. I don't know.
He's not elusive enough to break those tackles. You put Irv Smith there, at least he'll have a better chance
like
to get
Kirk
some
Cousins throwing to himself, man. It's like you see when he caught, like I think it was this game. One of the passes he caught, he just fell down. You're like, wait, hold on. You know people can tackle you, right? If you keep running, they just have to tackle you. But it's like, no, I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and fall down.
Kyle Rudolph has had a nice long career for Minnesota, but he does look like he's running in slow motion. Like anytime he gets the ball at this point, like it looks like your PS4 is like lagging behind, and he's just not catching up with everyone else on the.
It's like the last 2 years Tony Gonzalez was in the league. Yeah, you're Tony Gonzalez, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Eileen's got a good comment. That screen would have been better with Smith. Yep. It's about time to make Irv Smith number 1 on the depth chart. I don't know that he knows the playbook and blocks as well, but as far as speed and as a receiving tight end, I mean, it's pretty obvious on the tape that Kyle Rudolph's not anywhere what he used to be. I don't know. He can still be a red zone target, but even then, he's mostly used for blocking. Am I wrong?
He's been blocking a lot for that payday he's been getting.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, whatever. Easy money's easy money. Good for you. We mentioned the defensive stuff earlier, and you guys had mentioned in the chat. I'm not trying to ignore you. We're just trying to go in order of the stats here that I have in front of me. But, yes, Mackenzie Alexander got an INT. Fun fact about that, he has 2 interceptions in his professional career. He had none at Clemson, which is super weird. But glad that he got an interception. That was fun. Good break on the ball, curved in front of the receiver. Such a good one. Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks led the way in tackles. We talked about this earlier. Anthony Harris and Linval Joseph had 6 apiece. Going down here for the team totals, there were 2 sacks, 4 tackles for losses, 8 passes defended, and 5 quarterback hits. So there was good, consistent pressure. And what Adam was talking about earlier with how good Kendricks is and talking about Barr, and then they brought in Curse a little bit as kind of like a linebacker hybrid. I think, and why I gave my game ball to Zimmer is they're playing, especially to guys like Anthony Barr, where we've seen him get burned before when he had a mismatch. They're playing to these guys' strengths at the moment, and man, is it paying off. I'd love to see Anthony Barr rushing the passer and getting in the guy's face, not covering a running back. Most of the time is my favorite version of him. But they're doing great things with these guys that they should be playing.
I didn't know that. That's a good stat in the chat there.
It's coming up, guys.
Some interesting stuff there about Mackenzie Alexander.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, first interception against Cousins. I didn't know that. I didn't remember that. My memory isn't so good. That's the fact.
What's up, Cliff? He said he's going to be at the game Sunday in Detroit. Hey, take a photo and send it to us if you want, and we can post it. Thank you so much for joining the chat. That's awesome, man.
And tell those guys in Detroit that we feel their pain because that Monday night game was just disgusting.
Oh, God, don't even get me started on that. I've been bitching online all day about that freaking stuff, man.
Is anyone Googling to see who our ref is next week to see if it's Clete Blake?
That dude better watch out, man. If you do that, if you do something stupid like that and screw like the Bills out of something, they'll go to your house.
Oh, yes.
2 interceptions. This is the greatest thing ever. And I think, Kyle, did you put this in the chat with us with the kicker stat the other day from Philadelphia?
Yeah, for the Eagles, the guy got negative 2 points in fantasy.
So if you look on the stat line for Philadelphia, Carson Wentz only has 1 interception, which came from Mackenzie Alexander we're talking about. But Minnesota had 2 interceptions on the day because old Doug Peterson has a trick play up his sleeve always, and he'll hit desperation mode at like the very end of the first quarter and pull it out. So they tried a trick on the field goal, and it was really weird. It felt like that play went in slow motion, but Everson Griffin picked it off, and he was damn sure going to try to return that thing.
He gave it everything.
He tried, man. He went for it.
I love it. But
I mean, it's not the Linval return, but still would have been pretty cool.
That would, if he juked like 10 people and ran back, I mean, that would be one of the best moments I'd see as a Viking fan. But yeah, if you had the Eagles kicker, he had like -1 points because he threw an interception.
I think it was -2. I'm pretty sure it was -2 points.
Oh, so good. Nothing on the kick returns, punt returns. Marcus Sherrill's 1 for 6. Welcome back. 5 for 5 on extra points and 1 for 1 on field goals. Dan Bailey quietly having himself a freaking year.
It's weird. It's almost as if the problem was with the holder, huh?
Yeah, it's weird.
Right,
it's like,
right.
The holder that they signed that had never held before and wanted him to learn it
A
in 2
holder
weeks.
that wasn't a holder. I don't even know who our holder is right now. Who is it?
It's the punter, right?
Britton Colquitt?
Isn't Colquitt's holding?
I think so. Anyways, that was a good move.
Well,
it seems like these guys know a little bit of something about. It seems like they know a little bit about football, and
He actually went to the Pro Bowl for holding.
Hey, there you go.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I like it.
I
Dan Bailey
do
quietly knock on wood.
I do like the Vikings just pairing up like veteran kicker, veteran punter. Just like trust them not to fuck up and put them on the field and let them do their thing. Like no more of this drafting a kicker, drafting a punter. Fuck all that.
It would be great to have a young nucleus.
Veteran.
Green Bay's punter, that J.K. whatever his name is, he's awesome. I wish Minnesota could find some really talented young special teams players to get together a grouping of holder, long snapper, kicker that worked great, but it just don't seem to work.
I was going to say one of them went to the Raiders.
And he's doing a darn good job there.
Yeah.
So here's a good question. That's it for the stats, man. We beat the shit out of Philly, and I loved every second of it. Really, really hate that team. I'm still bitter from 2 years ago. Can we still go after Trent Williams? Would Spielman even try? Here's my take on that, Cliff. The only way that would even be remotely possible is that Stephon Diggs stuff. And after these last 2 weeks, I don't think Diggs wants to go anywhere. And Minnesota's been pretty adamant on saying, hey, dude, we're not trading this guy. You can give us an offer, but he's staying here. That's the only thing I can think of that's relative and sort of in the scope of maybe.
Trent Williams would be a fun addition, but not practical. I don't think Riley Reif's been bad enough that you really got to think about replacing him. I think that left guard is the only real spot that you kind of got to have some concern about. And I don't think that bringing in people to compete there would really work too well. As I've said before, I think they're just going to roll with who they have at left guard and kind of rotate him in. Because let's be honest, Pat Elflein and the guys beneath him on the depth chart, they're all pretty much the same anyway right now. Pat Elflein hasn't separated him from his backup at all. So, yeah, right now I just think they're going to roll with what they got and try to make it work.
What they got is working. I mean, it might not be the best in a couple places, like Adam has pointed out, but I don't think it's like panic mode. Terrible offensive line for the Vikings. They'll definitely be addressing it again in the off season, but I think we're fine enough right now.
I said this in a couple of episodes ago. If the offensive line can just be middle of the pack, that'll be such a vast improvement from last year, and it'll be serviceable enough to say, okay, Cousins, you have the chance. You're not going to have that New England line or the Dallas line from 3 years ago, but it's enough to help you figure it out and give you enough time. If it's like it was against Chicago a couple weeks ago, nobody's going to look good back there, but serviceable. That's all you can ask for, right? Also, breaking news of the week, because you guys need to hear this. The Marcus Mariota era is over with. Ryan Tannehill is now the starting quarterback in Tennessee. I know you guys wanted to hear that, so now
I was a big fan of Mariota coming out of college. I thought he was really exciting. He had an arm. He was mobile. Everything that I really wanted to check mark. I thought, oh, wow, this is what Jameis Winston probably wants to be.
God, both of those guys turned out to be a pile of crap. Oof. Well, at least we didn't get either one of those guys. That's cool.
Hey, to be fair to Marcus Mariota, he's on the Titans.
Isn't that the most 8-8 team in the history of football? I mean, they are literally the definition of 9-7, 8-8 every year. It's weird.
Yeah.
I know it still sounds bad, but I still have so much pity for the Detroit Lions to exist that long and never play in a single Super Bowl. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it at all. How can you – with the players that have gone through that organization? How?
Yeah, they've had some good ones, and they've had some success recently with the superstar. I mean, Calvin Johnson's the biggest freak of nature I've ever seen at wide receiver, and we had Randy Moss for a while. Like, I don't know. Barry Sanders, good God, man. You have that's weird. Did not even
Joey Harrington. I'm kidding. That was a joke.
Dan Orlovsky.
Oh, yeah, Andrew Lahela. We talked about that in the chat quite a bit. Well, I talked about that here on the show, about how Kirk Cousins stood in that pocket. He had a tendency before to hop around a bit, just seem really uncomfortable. This game, we didn't get a lot of that.
God, fingers crossed we can do this going forward. Oh. So that was cool. We talked about the Philly game. Just to give you guys a preview, this game is kind of a make or break. We'll still have a winning record even if we lose, but 0-3 in the division is so hard to come back from. This Detroit team is not one to be trifled with. They went in last night. They were the better team on the field. I hate agreeing with Colin Cowherd. He had the tape today. He said, I don't blame the refs. I blame Matt Stafford for being Matt Stafford, but I can't get on board with some of those questionable calls right at the end that were blatant, especially on a guy like Trey Flowers. I think they said last night he'd never had hands to the face called in his career, and he somehow had 2 in the same night. I think that's bullshit. But this is a much improved team. Defensively, they're good. They've got more life now on the offensive side. I think this could be an ugly game. This is like a 27-24, 24-21 game. So it could go either way. I'll be interested to see starting tomorrow what the line is on this game because Detroit.
Right now, the Lions are favorites.
What's that?
The Lions are favorites in this game.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that at all. Not at all. They're a gutted out, pain in the ass team, and this division is so tough. I think right behind the NFC West, we're right there in a total as a division. Like only 2 wins behind total, right behind the NFC West. They've got some really good teams.
But this Lions team is the same team that tied the Arizona Cardinals in the season opener.
Yeah.
But these are the same Lions who pushed the Chiefs to the limit. Who knows which Detroit team's going to show up? It's going to be based entirely on that, because I don't really know what this Detroit Lions team is. I'm not ready to say they're for real. I'm not ready to say they're a fluke. I just don't even really know what they are right now.
It's a little bit like
Cliff makes a good point. Detroit's coming in pissed off. Yeah, that's a good point, Cliff. Yeah, this could definitely go either way. I think this will be, if I have to make a guess off of everything that we've seen up until this moment in time, I don't think this game coming up that we've seen will be anything like any of the 6 games that we've seen the Vikings play thus far this year. You know, you had the one game to start the season where Dalvin Cook ran forever and Kirk only threw 10 times. This past game, Kirk throws 4 touchdowns. I just think it's going to be completely different from what we've seen. So I'm not sure what that is. I'm not the expert, but that's just the feeling that I have. But that's a good point, man.
Well, we're either going to see a Detroit team that's very angry, or we're going to see a Detroit Lions team that feels defeated. It's going to be one of those two. Because if they feel that they can go out there and put their best on the field and still come back with a loss, it's hard to get motivated back from that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be interested to see, man. I'm just happy that this job that I have is Monday to Friday and holidays off. And catch this game. I don't know. Are we going to do?
I have had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
That's the best TV edit in history.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Very good. So I just wanted to make sure while Adam is politely filibustering there. So it's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox, so it's not a primetime game, which is good. It is an away game. Wow, the matchup predictor says 63.3% in Minnesota's favor, according to the Football Power Index on ESPN. I don't like that. Nope, sure don't.
Does it say who's the referee on there?
Ooh, let's go down to the bottom. You guys filibuster for me, and I'll look for that. Who are the refs going to be here?
Can we pull Ed Hockley out of retirement?
So that brings a good point, Kyle. If you guys didn't have a chance to hear the legendary Pat McAfee go off on Get Up about this, he's talking about all those guys that you mentioned, like Ed Hockley and a couple other guys. If you hear the name, you'll know, but I can't think of anyone else. I'm glad you mentioned him. But they've been pulled away to do broadcasting or do something else. And he calls out the guy's name who's in charge of officiating now. He's like, he wasn't a good referee to start, and then you put him in.
Dean Blandino?
Well, he said Dean was all right.
Okay.
Yeah, whoever.
Well, the good news is that Keith Blakeman is handling the 49ers and Redskins this week, so thumbs up there. We don't got to deal with Cleat. The Vikings do have a referee called Brad Rogers, which sounds made up.
Brad Rogers sells life insurance.
Anyway, what was Pat McAfee saying?
So he was sitting next to old Rex Ryan, old feet man, and they were on Get Up with Greeny, and they were talking about the referee situation, and he went off, man. And I think this is what Pat McAfee was meant to do outside of football. He's so good at it, but he's calling out whoever's in charge of the NFL referees, saying, "Hey, he wasn't a good referee to start, and now you put him in charge of everyone." It was really, really funny, but it was yesterday, I believe, or maybe early today. Yeah, you can find it out there. It's on Get Up, just to give a shout out. But anything with Pat McAfee, and I'm going to watch it. But it was a very
now he's doing the NXT pay-per-views, as well as he got signed on to do some XFL games, right?
He was doing college Thursday college games, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's going to be like ESPN's one of the commentators for the XFL, because people were joking that the XFL has better commentators on ESPN than Monday Night Football does.
It's true. And I'm seeing way too much Troy Aikman on my TV lately.
See, I don't have a problem with anyone except Troy Aikman. I've come around for Joe Buck. I've listened to him on different things and understand that
I've accepted Joe Buck too.
Yeah, I accept him. He's not my favorite, but I don't hate him. I've actually, when I listen to this guy commentate, now here's a guy. I like Chris Collinsworth. His voice is a little annoying, but he breaks down football for the average fan to be like, hey, look, check this out. I'm like, holy crap, man, that's a great explanation.
Casual fans will love Collinsworth.
Yeah.
Hardcore fans, you want Tony Romo in that booth.
Oh, God. Oof. He is – I haven't seen a guy come in and play so well at his job other than Patrick Mahomes last year. Tony Romo's –
I need Jason Witten out.
Was he only in the commentator booth, 2 years, and he had a Super Bowl? He did the Super Bowl last year?
Right.
2 years of doing it? That's insane.
That's absolutely crazy.
Charles Davis.
I tell you what.
Favorite.
I was just going to say, no, I disagree. I'm ready for a break from Charles Davis.
Yeah, it's not that I hate Charles Davis. He seems very
knowledgeable.
He does not seem genuine, but I've just seen so much of him with these 1:00 Viking games. I want to break from him,
Yeah.
Can't stand Booger. No, Booger's bad. Oof. He's lots of stomach.
Good old Booger.
It's a disgusting.
All right. He did say that about Randy Moss, but Joe Buck will live forever with sideline caught Diggs.
That was a good
That's still
call.
The greatest, man.
That was a really good call.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Week 7 announcing schedules aren't up yet, so I can't tell you who it is, but hopefully we'll find out soon.
What do you think, guys? Is that a show?
I think
Works
that'll
for
do
me.
it.
Awesome. We'll do some plugging and we'll get out of here. First of all, let's go through this chat. Cliff, Rod, Andrew, Yang Yaz jumped in there for a little bit. Ollie Adkins was in there. Yeah,
No, Peter, where you at, buddy?
Sean
I know you're
Reynolds,
going to come back and listen to this later. We missed you. Sean
Reynolds made an appearance. Hey, we had a good chat tonight. Thank you guys for joining in and giving us stuff to talk about as usual. I'm just going to go down here in order of what we have. Mr. Kyle West there down on the bottom. If you go to the Purple People Podcast Facebook page, we have it at the top for Purple People Podcast merch. And this is his page right here, Phantasm Digital. So check that out. Buy some Purple People Podcast merch. Check out his artwork, his photography. His photography I can't push enough. He's doing all kinds of cool stuff. And this is his time of year in the fall and this whole Halloween kind of theme. This is his element, so you guys should check his work out.
Can we get a squirrel shirt?
You can get a squirrel shirt, Adam. You can get a squirrel put on a pillow. I have sold that before.
I like it.
That'll never be old. I want you guys to say that at the end of every show. So good.
You come up with different things. Can you get a squirrel on a coffee mug?
You could. You could get it on a coffee mug. You could get it on a cell phone case, should you choose.
Which a Purple People Podcast coffee mug would make a great gift.
It is. That's a good one. Speaking of the podcast, for tomorrow, if you guys are in the Survival League, I get an email every Wednesday, which is so nice of the reminder. But the Survival League, we talked about this earlier. Put your picks in, people. It's okay if you pick a team and they mess up and lose. Shame on them, but shame on you if you don't pick someone ahead of schedule. Do that.
Make a pick. Don't get a strike for not picking something. It's easy to do and it's fun.
It's so much fun. It's a little break from the fantasy football world. A little different setup.
That and there's 2 other people besides me who don't have a strike yet. So you other 2, you better keep bringing it. Don't make me make it all the way to the end and then have to throw it like last year. Because that was weird. I was picking the worst teams in the league at the end.
All right, the Viking Age. You just heard Adam Carlson talking over there. Check out his work over there, man. We get a lot of the notes, especially when he's gone. I steal a lot of information from that site. If you go on the Viking Age and you find an article written by Mr. Adam Carlson right there, go ahead and comment on it, interact with him, pump the numbers up, and you'll help pay his light bill. And that's what he
That's true. That's true. I'm trying to become a homeowner now. I'm trying to take over my parents' house since they both passed, and it's been a little bit of trouble and a lot of paperwork, but I'm doing what I can, and Although the internet here ain't the best, it's good enough to podcast with, and that's what really matters, right?
That's right.
Now, the Viking Age, you can go to thevikingage.com on any device, or there's a nifty Viking Age app that you can download, and all those articles from the Viking Age will be there. You can set yourself to get notifications when a new article is live. I believe that we had a really interesting piece that came out earlier today with the 5 Vikings who have underperformed so far in 2019.
Yep.
And although I don't agree with all of them, it's interesting.
I got an email about that, so you guys can definitely. And the Viking Age is on the Fansided app as well. If you have Fansided, I get emails from Fansided every week, multiple times, and they highlight whatever team that you follow. You just got to tell them what your favorite team is. You'll get links to this stuff in there, so check it out.
Another thing you can follow if you got that Fansided app, or it has its own individual app, is the Undead Walking. And I've got to say that so far I'm still loving Season 10 of The Walking Dead. It's absolutely amazing. Ever since Season 9 rolled in and everything kind of changed a little bit, I've really enjoyed the direction it's gone. There's even more to get excited about than just Season 10. There's a movie based on Rick Grimes coming out, which is going to be so much fun.
Really?
There's a third show coming out next year, and it's going to have a younger audience base. The Walking Dead just keeps growing and growing, and there's no end in sight. So if you're a big fan of zombies, Undead Walking is a great place to get a lot of that information.
So the Rick Grimes movie, is that going to be in theaters on Netflix?
It's Lucille.
3 movies in theaters. It's going to be
Wow, 3. Okay.
It was originally planned for AMC, but then movie companies started throwing bids at AMC to get those movies into theaters. And AMC finally said, okay, you throw out enough money, we can make it into a movie for theaters. So yes, it's going to be in movie theaters.
Nice. You have my attention now, sir. You have my attention.
And it's also been stated that you do not have to know a lot about the previous Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, comic book, anything like that to watch those Rick Grimes movies and enjoy them. So when you see the Walking Dead movies come out, even if you're not too familiar with everything else, you're free to check them out.
I'm going to check them out because, man, I was just thinking about going back and rewatching Season 1 of The Walking Dead, because Season 1 in particular was one of my favorite, watching it for the first time. It was just mine, and it came out right during Halloween, right around Halloween time, and it was just the
it came out on Halloween,
ever. Yeah, and that was just the coolest shit ever. And so I kind of
I loved it.
I've fallen off the Walking Dead bandwagon a little bit, but the movies kind of might pull me back into it, and I hope I get.
You caught back up and get into Season 9. I tell you, Season 9 is so good.
Yeah.
7 and 8 didn't work for me too much, but 9 and 10, oh, I'm loving it. The Whisperers are such a great group of villains.
I need to get back into it, because there was a time where I was just super on board and super excited for everything Walking Dead related. So.
Also, I do want to say that Jennifer Aniston has joined Instagram, so if you're into Jennifer Aniston, she's over there.
Hang on a second, guys.
So there's your random plug of the day.
I'm excited for that. That's the best news of the week. Don't tell Katie Nolan that I'm going to look at Jennifer Aniston on here.
Oh, no. Cheating.
I would never.
Well, that's all we've got. Do you guys have anything else you want to throw in?
Nope. I guess if you guys know we're all spread around the country. If any of you guys are in the New York area, in New York City or east of there, shoot the page a message. Let me know what's up. We'll try to go watch a game or something. I'm out here in New York. I'll be in New York for a while. So that'd be really cool.
If you're ever in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, you probably won't be, but you probably still shouldn't look me up. But if you do, that'd do something. I don't know.
If you find yourself lost.
This is his dating video, and it's so good. Yeah, if you're ever over here, maybe don't look me up. It's fine. I'll do. I don't know how to say. That's great.
If you're in Iowa, there'll be a lot of corn.
If you're ever in a single-engine airplane and it should crash, and you're in Iowa, you can pick me up if you should choose to.
Your car breaks down on a cross-country drive.
Yeah. I live somewhere near that small town in a horror movie where you ask for directions and then you end up in like hillbilly land. That's where I live. Like
Back the
somewhere
way
in
you
there.
came.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're at my parents' house.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, all right. Thanks again for everyone for joining us here in the live chat. There are some pretty cool things we're still trying to figure out with this app. And we do want to apologize to those of you who are on iTunes, Podomatic, Stitcher, and all that. We do know that we've been having some errors with trying to get the show up on those platforms. But we are going to do our best to fix going forward. So hopefully those things will be fixed in the future. And I don't know. I just want to be able to bring this to as many people as we can because we love it.
Right. Let's ask everyone who's still listening or in the comments or whatever. So if we pay for this, we might be able to also stream live on Facebook at the same time. If that is something that you guys are like interested in and would actually use, let us know, because that will factor into if that's something that we want to upgrade and eventually go for. So let us know if that's a feature that you would utilize or not.
It's a good one.
Definitely an interesting possibility. And I did learn that we are on Spotify. So if you got Spotify, you can listen to us.
That's right. Yeah, I'll try to get this up for everyone either tonight or tomorrow. I tried to upload the last few episodes, and our site that we use kept giving me an error, but hopefully that's not the case anymore. But we'll get it up on all the platforms, because if you guys are like me, I listen to podcasts every day. So if you just so happen to be one of the awesome people who choose to listen to this one at some point in time later, God bless your heart. Thank you. We'll get that.
I don't regularly listen to a single podcast. I know I'm like the only person out there that isn't on the podcast bandwagon listening to true crime stuff. I just don't. I can't. I can't. I spend too much video gaming anyway.
It's a way to just pass some time when there's dead air. It's a soothing thing. It's very comforting to have something that I like to hear about. Mostly it's just about football.
Well, all right. Thanks again for everyone who joined us in the chat. Love having you here. Interact with us on Facebook. Don't bother on Twitter. Instagram, who knows? So try to stick to Facebook. It's probably the best. Yeah. In the meantime, stay classy, Minnesota.